Hi, welcome to my video on hands-on step-by-step machine learning with Spark. This is session 1 and we will see how to get started with Spark. Before that, we need to know some of the basics about the Spark. Many industries are using Hadoop extensively to analyze their dataset. And when you look at the Hadoop framework, it is a very scalable and flexible, fault tolerant and very cost effective. But why do we need Spark? We need Spark to speed up the process, the waiting time between the queries and waiting time to run the program. Even though we have many data in Hadoop, but when we want to perform a rapid application or rapid ML operations, we need a Spark. Spark was introduced by Apache for speeding up the Hadoop computing software process, and it is a in-memory cluster computing. Some of the features of Spark. So we have a speed. Of course, the speed is an important component, and you can see it works 100 times faster in memory and 10 times faster when running on disk. So normally when you do something over the Hadoop cluster, if it takes 100 minutes and when you use Spark, it will get completed approximately in 1 or 2 minutes. The same way, like if you're performing some operation, disk operation, and if it takes 100 minutes to perform a task without Spark, by using Spark, it will get completed in 10 minutes time. So that is the speed of the Spark. It supports multiple language and APIs. So the Spark is, you have a Java, you have a Scala, you have a Python. So if you are a Java programmer, you can make use of the Spark. If you are a Python programmer, you do have an option to use Spark by using PySpark. In this video, we will be covering the PySpark concepts. And then what else you have in Spark? We have advanced analytics. It is not only MapReduce, but it also supports the SQL queries, streaming data, machine learning. That is, we will be talking about the MLlib in the next slide, and also the graph algorithms, some of the advanced graph algorithms. So these are the core. So you have Apache Spark core, which is the foundation. On top of it, you have a Spark SQL to perform the SQL operation. And if you are interested in performing a streaming analytics, you can use this Spark streaming. And you have a MLlib, which is nothing but is a bundle of all machine learning algorithms. And then GraphX is a distributed graph processing framework on top of Spark. So let's get started with the Spark. We will be using Google Colab Notebook as our IDE. I have a Colab Notebook open in front of you, and we will see how do we mount our drive inside the Colab. When I say drive, it's nothing but the Google Drive where you have all your data file in terms of CSV or Excel. So if you go to this, you have on the left side, you have a folder option here, files. You click on that and you will see like you have a Google Drive. When you click on this, you have My Drive, and under My Drive you will be having all your folders. So in the first step, we will be seeing how do we mount this drive into our Google Colab. To perform that, we have to mount this drive by using this command. From Google Colab, import drive, and then drive.mount. You have to provide /content/drive. So the drive for me, it's already mounted. If I run this, it will say it is already mounted. So you can see that the drive is already mounted for me, and so we will be moving on to the next step. We will be seeing some of the packages and the libraries, and then we have some of the requirements which is needed to run the PySpark in Google Colab. So the first thing is we have to install Java. I'll be using the OpenJDK 8, and this is the command to get the Java. So first get the Java, download the Java, and we also need a Spark. So for the Spark, we will be getting it from the Apache site, and the version of the Spark that I'm using in this example is Spark 3, but this can be changed according to your requirement. And then the third step is to uninstall this files, the Spark file that is downloaded in the second step. So for me it is already downloaded, but if I run this, it will take some time for me. So let me run this. So what it is happening is, it is trying to download the Java, download the Spark, and unzipping the Spark 3.2. So these are the three commands is getting executed now. And let this get happen, and the next step is to set up Java Home and Spark Home, and you can make use of this os.environment Java Home equal to the path is mentioned over here. Similar way, we need to set up the set up the Spark Home path also. So you have to set up this path like this way. So let me do this for you. And so this is done. Now we need a couple of packages. The one is the find Spark, and the other one is the PySpark. Since we will be using Python on top of Spark, we need a PySpark, and find Spark is also required to know that where the Spark is installed. So these are the important packages that needs to be installed to get started with Spark. So I already have the find Spark and PySpark, hence it is saying that the requirement is already satisfied. So let's move on to the next one. Here what we are trying to do here is, we are trying to create a session, Spark session, and so what we have is, we imported a find Spark, and we have a find Spark.init, and then we say find PySpark.sql import Spark session, and then we say Spark session.builder master equal to local. Spark runs in a 3 mode. Since it is a standalone machine, I have a local mode. You can also run it if you are having a big data environment with Hadoop. You can run it in a cluster mode or yarn mode. So, and then I can give the name of the app, and then if I have additional configuration like setting up the port and other things. So this is the first step. The moment you install everything and you are creating any new analysis, you need to initialize the Spark using the Spark session. Now let us see whether the Spark session is created. So I use the Spark object that is created here. Now it says the Spark is a min memory, and the version that we are using is Spark 3.0. And now getting into the interesting section, we will be using the boston.csv file. Hope you all are aware of the CSV file. If you are not, go to the Kaggle or go to the UCI machine learning repository. You can download it from there. This data set is nothing but, it is just to see like what is the price of the apartment or house like in the Boston area, US Boston area, and we can perform a regression analysis on top of it. So the first step is to load this data into my Spark data frame. So here my DF is a Spark data frame, and the command that I'm providing here is spark.read CSV and name of my CSV. So this is the reason why we need to mount our drive. So boston.csv file is available under my drive data boston.csv. So, and then header equal to true. I want all the headers to be there, and infer schema is equal to true, just to make sure the Spark data frame understand the schema based on the data it is available in that particular column. So let's do this. So you can understand this data. You have 14 variables here, and then my medv is my target variable, So you can go through this. I'll be sharing this notebook to you. You can go through this later. And let's get started with the data exploration part. First thing is I want to see like what are my columns available in my data frame. My DF is a Spark data frame, and then I say print schema. Remember friends, you do df.info in pandas, but in Spark you have to say print schema. So I do a print schema, I get all the columns here, and also on top of it I also get the data type of it and whether they are nullable or not. So you have all these 14 columns here. So let's see how do we display the top 10 rows from the data frame. So for that you have to say df.show, and within the bracket you can say 10. So you can see the first the top 10 rows is getting displayed here. So also if you want to see the how many number of like rows are there in my in this data set, I can say df.count. I can see there are 506 rows are there, and if I want to show only the particular column and not the all the columns as it is available here, I can always say df.select and name of the column and then say show. So it will always give me the column that I have selected. Remember friends, this is as simple as your SQL. If you are good in SQL, then Spark is a very easy for you. This is additional content, nothing to do with Spark, but if you want to display the data frame in a pandas data frame format, maybe a better format, how it is looking like this. So you can always say the df dot limit, and you can say the number of rows you want to display, and then you can say to pandas. So this command basically what it does is it will convert the Spark data frame to pandas data frame. And we do have, just like in pandas we have a describe, in Spark also we have a describe. All you need to do is df.describe dot show. This dot show is the additional one, then you need to mention that in Spark. So it will give you a 5-number summary. It gives you the count, it gives you the average, it gives you the standard deviation, minimum and maximum value of each and every column. And in case if you want to see like how many distinct value there in my data frame on a particular column, say age, so I can say that select age and say distinct and then show. So you run this, you'll know that how many distinct values are here. And then if you want to perform a group by aggregation, and you want to aggregate it by some column or maybe more than one column, you can always use group by function just like how you do in pandas. So the data frame dot group by and the column name and then the aggregate function here. So here in my case I am taking the average of medb for age and index. These are the two columns. So I just say this and run. So I can get that like for age 95.7 and the index 19.58, the average value is 14.6. Similar way for age 68.7, index value 4.05, my average medb is 22. So this is how you can get you make use of the group by function to aggregate some columns and get the aggregated values out of it. You can also do the you can also count and remove the null values from the data frame. So the first thing is you have to count how many columns are having null values. So just run this command, you have to say count, and then the isNull function is the key here, and you just say show, then it will say that you have, okay, so there is no column where you have a null values, so there is no need to remove anything. And if you had a null value, then you can always use the fill NA command. And the next step is to, I already have this data frame, Spark data frame, and I want to write back this pre-processed data into a CSV file. So I can use df.write the data Spark data frame name.write.csv and then the path. So here I no need to mention CSV because it is already a CSV file here. So I can say this, let me change it to data 2 because data 1 is already exist for me. So I run this. Okay, so this is saved. If you go to this your drive folder, you will be able to see the this path, this file will be saved. And you want to know, like, Spark works on the partitions, the number of partitions. Normally in local mode, you will be having 1 or 2 partitions, but if you are working in a Hadoop partition and you want to know that how many partitions are available for you to perform a parallel processing, so you can always use this command spark.rdd get number of partition, get num partitions. So you will know that you will get the number of partitions available for you to work with. And at last, if you want to convert the Spark data frame to the pandas data frame, all you can say is the data frame name, the df.2 pandas, and you can also use the same dot csv under to csv to save the file. So with this, we'll come to the end of this session. What we learned here is how do we mount the drive, what is the basics of Spark, and why do we need Spark, and then how do we mount the drive, the Google Drive, how do you use the Colab, and then then how do we install Spark in Colab, and then set the path, and then the initializing the Spark session, and then we saw some of the pre-processing with Spark data frame. Thank you.